Good morning, guys. How are you doing today? So I'm up early this morning. Carl and her dad are still in the bed asleep. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make her a fruit cup. So I recently learned the term crunchy mom. I had never, heard it before. I guess by definition, I would be considered a crunchy mom, but I don't really consider myself to be that just because I truly believe that I simply do what my child requires. And so, I know that everyone else does the same. And so I respect differences and I never push what I do with Carl on anyone else. I just show it in case there are others who want to do the same things or, who need ideas and things of that nature. So, this is a judgment free zone. This isn't a zone where we, compare our parenting, compare our children or anything of that nature. But today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys how I make, fruit cups for Carl. So I do buy, the pre-packaged fruit cups, but I only do no sugar added fruit cups. And I make sure that, there are no artificial sweeteners. I make sure that it's naturally sweetened. I don't really get the ones in fruit juice. So I'm very particular about that. And I will admit I am a nutrition facts reader. But I also like for Carl to get in her fresh fruits and vegetables as well. So, one of the things about apples is that, they can be a choking hazard. The skin on them can present a hazard, when they're hard, the hard texture can present a hazard. And so you don't really want a child that small biting into a whole apple. And Carl loves apples. So one of the things that I will do is make apple fruit cups for her. Now, one of the things, that you do have to consider is the fact that apples, they become brown once you take the skin off. Well, that's just the oxidation process. The apple is still good. It's still gonna taste the same. Now, if I peel and chop this apple, she'll definitely eat it the same day. I'll feed it to her immediately, and then if there's any left over, I might give it to her later in the day, but I won't give it to her any longer than that. But I do want you to know that it does turn brown fairly quickly, and that's okay. If you do have some extra pieces, you also could just puree them and make some all natural applesauce. So this is essentially, a fresh apple. We're going to chop it up. We're going to make a fruit cup. And then if you wanted to, puree it, you can puree it with the skin on actually. You would just, steam it to soften it and then, chop it up and then, just put it in a blender. And there's your pureed applesauce. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to start by, removing the skin from the apple. And just so you know, this apple was washed, this cutting board was washed, and my hands were washed prior to the start of this video. So as you can see, it's really simple to peel this apple. It's a fairly quick process. Now you might notice that this apple is a little bit overripe, and that is okay because that means that it's softened a little, and that's what I want. I want it to be softened, right? So I'm just peeling my apple. Okay, and here's my apple. And so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove these peels out of our way. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to chop my apple. So give me one moment. I am going to get us a knife and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. And so next, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to chop my apple, okay? And just get these large pieces here. And then, here's the apple core. We'll remove that because we're not going to use it. And then I will just, slice my apple. My husband, he's really particular about, brown spots. If he sees any little brown spot, he won't eat a piece of fruit. I'm not really, that way. As long as the fruit tastes good, it's, obviously not rotten. You can, cut those pieces out and just continue to eat it, or, you can choose to eat it. It's really up to you, as long as you're tasting it, making sure it's not rotten or anything like that. And this apple is just a little overripe, and like I said, that's a good thing because it's softer. I do that on purpose. So I'm chopping it up here. And for Carl, I chop hers into, smaller pieces because I know I've told you guys time and time again, that she did have feeding difficulties, texture difficulties. She was, in feeding therapy. And so, of course, she does really good now with, her chewing and things like that. But we still just want to make sure that we minimize the choking hazards as much as possible. So one of the reasons that I'm doing, this is because, like I said, I will use, the pre-packaged, no sugar added fruit cups. They're really good, on the go, especially if she needs a snack, before or after therapy, or, during the commute. But we only let her eat, during the commute if I'm in the back seat with her. Otherwise, it has to be before we pull off, or, when we arrive at home, because we don't let her, eat in the back seat by herself, just to, minimize choking and hazards and things like that. So those pre-packaged fruit cups are great, but at the present time, I don't have any of them. Our grocery store pickup is today, this morning, and Carl will be up before that occurs. And, she's going to need some breakfast, and we typically will give her, fruit with her breakfast. And so that's why I'm going ahead and getting this prepared while she's asleep. So as you can see, so there's a little brown spot there. So, I just cut that off, and then voila. And then we just keep going. And you can do this with anything, right? You can take some blueberries, put them in a little container. You can take, some strawberries, put those in a little container. You can, peel an orange and, take the casing off. And there you have, you some little mandarin orange slices. So the point is, you really can, make your own fruit cups. And of course, like blueberries, strawberries, things like that, those, might last in the cup a little longer. So that's one whole apple, right? So this will actually be a couple of, snacks for her. So here is her fruit cup. And then, she has some apple slices left over. So what's going to happen is these are about to go on her breakfast tray. And then these will go in the refrigerator for later in the day. And like I said, it will, be a little brown by the time she eats her lunch, which is just the oxidation process. But that is okay. This is perfectly good to eat. So, just something I'm doing this morning while she's asleep. And I just wanted to show you guys. So simple, easy, nothing major, but at the same time healthy and yummy and delicious. And I'm Dr. Erica Judge Edwards, the mom of Carl Emery Edwards, the creator of, Carl Emery's World. My daughter is a beautiful, wonderful, phenomenal autistic beauty. You can follow us on Instagram, Carl, CARLE _ Emery, EMERY. You can also, follow us on YouTube, Carl Emery's World. Facebook, the same name, Carl Emery's World. And then TikTok, it is at Carl Emery, CARLE EMERY. Have a great Sunday, guys, and be sure to enjoy your holidays. Please click the link, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you.